Yet another Stranger Things actor is joining the MCU. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris and welcome back to another video. So today I'm giving you my picks for who Sadie Sink could be playing in the MCU. For those who don't know, it was reported last week that Sadie Sink, who plays Max in Stranger Things, will be joining Spider-Man 4 in a role that we don't know yet. So in this video, I'm going to break down who she could be playing as well as the one role that I would love to see her in more than any other. But before I get into this, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below who you think Sadie Sink is going to be playing in the MCU, and of course subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified for all my future videos. I also have some fun stuff going on over on Patreon. I'm watching X-Men 97 for the first time right now and reacting. I have exclusive live streams and lots more on the way, so be sure to consider joining my Patreon linked down below. But without further ado, I say we just get down to business. So like I said up front, it was reported by Deadline and all the trades last week that Sadie Sink will be playing someone in Spider-Man 4. Marvel declined to comment, so we don't know who she's going to be playing, but the theories are already endless online, and I'm going to tell you right now, I got my 2 cents on the matter. So let's go character by character who she could be playing. The first one is going to be Gwen Stacy. My reasoning for this is at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, Peter Parker has a fresh start. No one remembers who Peter Parker is. That includes his version of MJ. That includes Ned. He's got his own thing going. Aunt May is no more. Happy doesn't even remember him, for Christ's sake. So he's got his own apartment in New York City. He's settling in. He's sewed up his own suit, and he seems to be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, handling, the street level matters in New York City. In fact, the Spider-Man trilogy in the MCU almost functioned as its own origin trilogy for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, so that now we can be launched into the next era of his Spider-Man for 1, 2, 3 films, whatever it may be, including Avengers appearances, obviously. So with Peter Parker having this fresh start, why not bring Gwen Stacy into the picture? And who better to play her than, let's say, Sadie Sink? In the past, Emma Stone and Bryce Dallas Howard have both played this character in live action iterations, and I think Sadie Sink would crush it in this role. Just like if you're basing it off her performance as Max in Stranger Things, she's able to be a bit sarcastic, witty, charming. These are all characteristics that you can associate with Gwen Stacy, and I think she would have some awesome back and forth banter with Tom Holland's Peter Parker, making for one hell of a duo in my opinion. I could definitely see them going the route of casting her as Gwen and having her introduced in this movie, setting her up to have a greater role because, hey, guess what? They're gonna do a live action Spider-Verse type movie at some point. I know you could argue we got that with No Way Home, but you don't think Sony and company want to go even bigger? I bet you they build to that at some point where we're getting a live action Spider-Gwen played by none other than Sadie Sink. The writing's on the wall. You can see they might be wanting to go this direction, especially with Stranger Things coming to an end. Sadie Sink's gonna have a lot more time on her hands for filming, and this commitment to Gwen Stacy could be the move. Have her be Spider-Gwen in, say, the 2nd or 3rd of the Tom Holland films. I'm totally game for that. And then ultimately culminate with, hey, Miles Morales in the picture. We've got a live-action Spider-Verse. Why the hell not? That was one of the first thoughts I had when this casting news was announced, but obviously there are tons of other possibilities as well. The next is that she could just be playing MJ. Now, we already have a version of MJ in the MCU. Michelle Jones, played by Zendaya. She was like the main love interest in the first 3 Spider-Man films. More so Far From Home and No Way Home. She's around in Homecoming, but it really isn't until Far From Home that her and Peter's relationship starts to develop, romantically speaking. However, she's MJ. Obviously, she's not Mary Jane Watson, but she is MJ, and so to have Sadie Sink come in and play Mary Jane Watson could feel a bit repetitive. 2 MJs in one version of Spider-Man. I don't think they want to go that route. I believe firmly that Zendaya's MJ, Michelle Jones, is MJ in the MCU. It's just not Mary Jane Watson, and they don't want to go down that path again. We've already seen MJ in the Tobey trilogy. We've got some MJ in the Spider-Verse films. We've seen her in the Spider-Man games on PlayStation. I think we're good. I don't want them to kind of rehash things we've seen from the Raimi trilogy. I want to feel fresh, and I think, Sadie Sink as Gwen Stacy would be much better than Sadie Sink as MJ. I just think Gwen Stacy is a more fascinating character who could do more in this cinematic universe. Whereas with MJ, again, we already have MJ. It's just not Mary Jane. So, we're good. That whole romantic relationship came to a close. They could bring it back and revive it. MJ could end up remembering Peter down the line, but they had perfect closure at the end of No Way Home. So I think we're good on MJ in the MCU. That's why this one I'm not too high on actually being the case. And of course, the obvious reason that MJ, Mary Jane, comes into the conversation for Sadie Sink is that Sadie Sink naturally has red hair and MJ has red hair. So that is kind of, I think, the main driving force in why the MJ name is being thrown around. The same can be applied to the character Firestar, another red-headed Marvel superhero. In fact, this character is actually introduced in Spider-Man comics way back in the day. Truth be told, I don't know much about Firestar, so drop your Firestar lore in the comments down below. There's this image of her alongside Spidey. I don't believe we've seen this character in any Spider-Man media in quite some time, obviously not in any of the live-action films at least, but totally she could be playing this character. In fact, oftentimes the MCU will make some big casting announcement. It'll be like, oh my gosh, so-and-so is joining this project, and they'll end up being used as like a side character or just a random human. And I'm not saying Firestar would be that, but it would be like, damn, we had high aspirations like Gwen Stacy, MJ, and just Firestar. Again, I don't know enough about that character to judge Firestar. I'm just saying it would be a little bit of a letdown by comparison if we're tossing Firestar and the other big-time names that she could be playing. I think when Walton Goggins was cast in Ant-Man and the Wasp, like, oh my gosh, Walton Goggins, and he's playing Sonny Birch, just like some dude in a suit and tie. That happens a lot in the MCU. Like Lawrence Fishburne, oh my god, he's in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Which, by the way, I don't know why I keep picking out that one movie, but he was supposed to be something, and he kind of just had this really small role. So it's interesting to see what actors get cast in these projects and then the caliber role they end up playing. But Firestar's on the table for sure. The red hair alone, you know, you've got some favorable odds, right? Next, we've got Black Cat, which if I'm being completely honest, I think there's like a less than 1% chance this is who she's playing. I just don't see Sadie Sink playing that character. There are lots of other big name actors who I think could take on that type of role better. Black Cat, Sadie Sink just doesn't seem right. There's one role, however, that I think is perfect for Sadie Sink. It's maybe the most heavily speculated of the bunch, and it would open the door for her to be around in the MCU well past just a Spider-Man movie or two. That role is none other than Jean Grey of the X-Men. The rumors have been going around that she could be playing Jean Grey in the MCU for a while now, and then this news drops. All the trades are reporting that she's playing an undisclosed role in Spider-Man 4, and then, you know, I start to question, well, maybe she's playing a traditional Spider-Man character, an MJ, a Gwen Stacy, a Firestar, maybe Black Cat. Jean Grey, that doesn't fit with Spider-Man. Sure, you could think that way, but we have to remember when this fourth Spider-Man movie is releasing. It's set to release in July 2026, which as of right now on the MCU calendar is between Avengers Doomsday, which comes out May 2026, and Avengers Secret Wars, which comes out May 2027. Now, I believe those two movies are going to get delayed just because I feel like it's almost impossible to get them out at the highest possible quality that fast. They haven't even started filming yet. Seems completely unachievable, like almost impossible. So I imagine they're going to push them each a year. So I think Doomsday is going to get pushed to May 2027. I think Secret Wars is going to get pushed to May 2028. Only time will tell. We'll probably find that out in the next few months by San Diego Comic-Con, I would imagine. However, if we stick to this current release schedule and Spider-Man 4 drops in between the two, they could go one of two routes. One of those routes is they take the Ant-Man and the Wasp route, to refer back to that movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp came out between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, but the movie's story took place before Thanos arrived and before he snapped away half humanity by the end of Infinity War. It was its own contained story. The only way it connected and kind of bridged the gap between the two is the post-credit scene. So Spider-Man 4 could go that route of, hey, whatever happens in Doomsday is actually after the events of Spider-Man 4, and then we get a post-credit scene for Spider-Man 4 that ties in or bridges the gap between Doomsday and Secret Wars. That could make sense. It's more of a street-level Spidey, maybe Kingpin and Daredevil show up. I'm so game for that. However, the other route they could go, the one that I think is more likely, is that Spider-Man 4 will be more multiversal-centric. We saw the box office success of No Way Home. It lit it up. There were reports that apparently inside Marvel and Sony, they wanted to go the multiversal route with Spider-Man 4 because money, 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 to quote Mr. Krabs, right? So if they go the multiversal route for Spider-Man 4, they could open the door to introducing tons of characters who could appear in Secret Wars, because it could be like the Civil War of it all, almost like an Avengers 2.5, except Spider-Man is the lead character, right? They could totally do that, and it could be the most important movie to bridge the gap between Doomsday and Secret Wars. In Spider-Man 4, X-Men could get introduced so that they could appear in Secret Wars, and then after Secret Wars, they could be the new Avengers of the world. The universe could revolve around them. The Marvel Cinematic Universe would then be on the shoulders of like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Well, if they went that route, what better way to introduce Jean Grey into the MCU, one of the most pivotal X-Men, than in Spider-Man 4, played by Sadie Sink. That's why I'm leaning Jean Grey is who she's going to be playing, because she could show up and literally just a post-credit scene, but it would still be an appearance in Spider-Man 4, and it would really set her up to be that character in Secret Wars, and then to play Jean Grey for the next decade or whatever. Like, we could get the most out of Sadie Sink joining the MCU if she is Jean Grey, in my opinion, because if she's Gwen Stacy, she's just confined to a Spider-Man movie. If she's any of the other Spidey-centric characters I name, she's confined to a Spidey movie, and sometimes there's a lot of unpredictability with what Sony's gonna do behind the scenes. There was a point in time where Sony looked like they were done with Tom Holland as Spider-Man. It was no more. That was a real thing. It was horrifying, but it was a real thing. And so if she's, tied down to a Spidey franchise, that's a little more alarming. But if she's playing Jean Grey in the X-Men, the possibilities are unlimited. I think it would allow her as an actress to show off her range the most. And I think that character is the most suited to Sadie Sink as an actress. I would love to see her as Jean Grey. Of all these possibilities I just ran through, that's the one I'm circling. That's the one I want. Let Sadie Sink be Jean Grey in the MCU, and I will be a very happy man. But as it stands right now, we don't have any confirmation on who she's actually playing in Spider-Man 4 or in the future of the MCU. I believe she's definitely playing someone in the MCU. The reports didn't lie. The trades wouldn't have put that out if they weren't gonna be true. So she's playing someone in the MCU who, my money's on Jean Grey, but if it's not Jean Grey, I would probably go with Gwen Stacy. If it's neither of those, and if it's none of the people that I just broke down, then she's just going to be playing some new original character that they create for the MCU. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below who you think Sadie Sink's going to be playing, as well as who you want to see her play in the MCU. Of course, hit that like button, subscribe, and that notification bell, and be on the lookout for more videos coming very soon. But thank you guys, as always, for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.